$2. 1 trillion in BlackRock holdings, but your ETF shares come with zero voting authority. And if you own $500,000 or more in index funds, this gap is probably costing you something far more valuable than dollars. Alignment between your values and where your retirement capital actually goes. Let me show you exactly how this works. If you own $500,000 or more in BlackRock index funds, you've probably assumed your capital grants you a voice in board elections, executive compensation, and shareholder votes. That's the wrong belief. And here's the proof. The iShares Core S&P 500 ETF prospectus, the document most fund owners never read, explicitly states that BlackRock retains all voting authority. Fund clients have zero direct voting rights. BlackRock's latest 13F filing shows $1 trillion in equity holdings across its iShares family. That's roughly 6% of the entire U.S. stock market by value. But here's the gap. BlackRock delegates proxy voting to third-party advisors like Institutional Shareholder Services, IS, and Glass Lewis, according to BlackRock's own stewardship voting guidelines. Not your preferences, not your values, not your consent. For a $1 million ETF portfolio, this gap is massive. Think about it. You own the economic benefit, the dividend, the share price appreciation, the upside. But you own zero board election votes. Your capital is voted at BlackRock's direction on issues you may fundamentally oppose. Executive compensation packages, board diversity mandates, environmental policies, or activist shareholder resolutions. Let me show you the proof. BlackRock's SEC Schedule 14A proxy statement and annual voting guidelines document reveal the delegation structure. For every major shareholder vote, board elections, say-on-pay, and approvals, climate resolutions, BlackRock votes its entire client base's shares as a single block. Individual fund shareholders cannot customize, override, or even see the specific reasoning before the vote happens. Your $500K position, voted by proxy advisors according to BlackRock's institutional guidelines. Your $2 million position, same thing, voted in aggregate with millions of other investors you'll never meet. The iShares prospectus language is buried, but it's explicit. BlackRock Advisors LLC, as the fund advisor, retains sole responsibility for proxy voting and shareholder engagement decisions. This appears in nearly every iShares fund document across hundreds of ETF products. Sole responsibility, not shared, not delegated to you, not optional. For dividend investors and retirees, this creates a hidden misalignment that compounds over decades. Imagine you hold $2 million across iShares ETFs earmarked for retirement. You expect those holdings to reflect your values on executive pay, board independence, or technology spending accountability. Instead, BlackRock's proxy advisors vote that $2 million block at their discretion. Over a 15-20-year retirement, your capital unknowingly funds governance decisions you never consented to, decisions that directly affect the companies where your wealth is parked. The delta is crystal clear. You believe you own votes, you own zero votes. You believe you control governance, you control dividends only. This matters because passive investing is sold as democratic ownership. Own a piece of 500 companies, but the voting democracy is pure fiction. Now here's where it gets worse. BlackRock's voting patterns, revealed in SEC proxy statements filed annually, often align with ESG and diversity mandates that individual conservative investors actively oppose, or with passive governance approaches that individual activists want to push harder. But because you're a fund client, not a shareholder of record, you have no mechanism to object. No proxy card, no annual meeting seat, no voice. So what's the actual mechanism? BlackRock's stewardship team, a division of roughly 60-80 professionals, votes on behalf of over 10 million fund shareholders globally. That's roughly 125,000 shareholders per voting professional. Your $500K position represents less than 0.4% of their attention. The only way to regain voting control is to step outside passive funds entirely. Hold individual stocks directly, then you receive proxy cards and voting authority automatically. Or choose actively managed funds where your advisor can customize proxy voting to your preferences. Or demand your fund provider, like Vanguard or Fidelity, make proxy voting choices transparent and optionally customizable for clients. Most fund owners never discover this gap because prospectuses are deliberately dense. Fund marketing emphasizes ownership and democratized investing. And SEC proxy statements don't highlight the non-voting fund client status in plain language. But the SEC filings are clear.